think that the most important part about being seen as an influential woman is to be a woman that mentors others. I think one of the ways that I certainly have always conducted my businesses is to, first of all, support other woman owned businesses. I think using women vendors is a way we all support each other. And then, of course, being a mentor. As a psychologist, we certainly learn a lot clinically in our studies, but when it comes to marketing, when it comes to business management, when it comes to operations, it's been my pleasure, having a large group practice for 25 years, to have mentored many private practitioners that then went on to launch their own practice. Now, another thing that I think is important is it's always ongoing to continue to be cutting edge in your profession. You never want to step back and relax and just skate. You always want to be improving your quality. I think you always want to be moving forward and maintaining your credibility. I also think it's important to create your own network of women professionals. I think this particular site, Influential Woman, is one that helps you learn from others, connect with others. I continue to think that LinkedIn and keeping a strong LinkedIn presence is something that is very helpful. I also think it's important. Women have sometimes what I call the disease of over-responsibility, that you certainly want to be very dedicated to your profession, but you don't want to neglect other aspects of your life. You want to make sure that you stay healthy and exercise, and you want to make sure you have a personal life. It's important to make sure that your life is multi-dimensional. I think the other aspect of being influential is to have a devotion to your community. That certainly, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce, whether it be a business owners organization or a women's professional organization, that you want to stay connected to the community. That helps you really in terms of always having a network of good vendors. And then you always end up in a situation where you end up with a lot of cross referrals. I also think it's very important to create your own brand. That there's many psychologists. I sort of developed a reputation as the psychologist that challenges you. It was sort of said that you didn't go see Dr. Marotta unless you really wanted to have some movement in your life. So each of us, whatever our profession may be, is going to have their own particular niche, their own particular way to leverage. I personally have always been devoted to leveraging women in their profession. 2 books that address these issues. The latest book being Power Up, that I did with 2 of my colleagues, which is talking about positive power skills for women. Women need to be comfortable with the concept of power, and it's positive power. People get power and control mixed up. Positive power is having the strength to navigate your own path, and to make sure that you don't, women sometimes slip into either deferential or people-pleasing behaviors. And those can be what I call power robbers, that can be problematic. The culture sometimes gives women messages that are not helpful. You have to be willing as an influential woman that sometimes you're going to disappoint people. Sometimes people may not particularly like you or support you, but you have your own support network and have your own clarity to move forward. Actually, it's an honor to be considered an influential woman. I think everybody has an influence, and anything you can do to leverage your influence, I think will enhance your life. Best wishes. Hello. It's an honor to be considered an influential woman. question I'm addressing now is what would be the advice I would give to younger women chasing their dreams. Um, and actually, I have a 3-point advice. The first advice is to be clear what your dream is. The more precise that you can identify your goal, the better it is. For example, as a psychologist, there's multiple settings. You can be in government settings, you can be in hospital settings, you can be in private practice settings, you can be in research settings, you can be in academic settings as a professor. So even though you have a profession, you want to drill down to specifically what part or dimension of that profession do you want to start out in. I think that's very important. The second piece of advice is don't feel locked in. I think that one doesn't really know until one actually starts their profession how the goodness of fit is. I've had the pleasure of working in many settings, from being a professor to be correction settings to being in a hospital setting. I spent most of my career, 25 years, running a large practice and mentoring other psychologists. And now I'm back in a telehealth setting and in a rehab setting, still working 3 days a week. So I think it's important to really have clarity on how you're going to mobilize in your particular chosen career. The other thing that's important is to have either a mentor or strong colleagues. You need other professional women for support, for advice. Certainly utilizing this site is a step in the right direction. That you really want to have a professional network. To this day, I have a monthly dinner date with 2 other psychologists, and it's very important. It's important to support each other, and it's important to brainstorm career opportunities and to share moments in your personal life as we all try to navigate to have a quality of life. The other thing that's really important is women sometimes end up with what I call some power robbing behaviors. Whether they might be trying to be people-pleasing or, most important, I find that women sort of just do their job and they don't market themselves. They don't let people know what they're accomplishing. So I think it's very important. For example, if your team has a particular win or achieves something or meets a goal, then you want to be two-sided. You want to show appreciation for your team, but make sure that when you show appreciation for the team, that you copy. You copy some of the VPs, you copy your direct report. You want to maintain a high visibility. I think women sometimes get the work done, but they don't pay attention to having their visibility. As I said, you sort of have to toot your own horn. You've got to be your own cheerleader, and you have to let people know what you're accomplishing and what you're doing. I think that's very important. The other thing that's important is you can have it all. Okay, having a family, having children, maintaining your career, it's all doable. I think that it's important. Women sometimes get into feeling guilty, and I think you want to watch that. There's nothing to be guilty about. And to be a good role model of achievement and to have your own financial resources and your own financial stability. And I think that's the other final advice, is to start saving for your retirement. Make sure you keep your income and money separately. I think a couple is always better to have one joint account for perhaps the bills that'll be paid, but to have separate accounts so they have their own investments. Be savvy. I think that's important. You want to learn about money and you want to learn how to invest your money. Best wishes, and I hope you chase your dream and achieve it.